Welcome to Sterling City Radio. It's March 7th, 2014, Episode 2. We Might Be Obsessed. Warning, there is a little bit of explicit language, but we've managed to keep it down this time. Hope you have fun. Alright, so welcome to Episode 2 of Sterling City Radio. I am one of your co-hosts, Simeon, and I've got...
AJ Lewisell.
Alright, what's going on, man?
Dude, I am still, to this day, 24 hours later, pumped about last night's episode of Arrow.
I am too. We've got 2 episodes, actually, to talk about, right?
Exactly, yeah. 2 have happened in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, that should be really good. Alright, so you want to jump right into it?
I think we should.
Okay, so go ahead. Why don't you give us like a small recap of...
Now, in this past 2 episodes actually, we have your wonderful Arrow. Roy Harper is learning how to control his rage, not very well. Black Canary is reconnecting with Laurel, so they're having a good time, sisterly love. And everything is going good. Everyone's kind of in a good place. And Oliver Queen still hates his mom, but he decides, I'm going to go home. I'm going to check on everyone. Everything's cool. Gets there. And she's like, oh, hi, Ollie. Can you please meet Slade Wilson? And everyone in the world just said, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And that was the cliffhanger of last week's episode. This week starts off right there. We have Slade Wilson holding on to Oliver Queen's hand in awkward moment. Awkward. How did you like this episode?
I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed the flow. I thought it flowed well. I was so into it. I'd mentioned before that I was really upset when it ended because for me it ended abruptly. I was ready for a whole nother hour as soon as the episode ended, but unfortunately I did not get that wish.
I gotta agree with you. It's been like at that point, I was ready for a whole movie, which actually, as you showed me, Stephen Amell just released a trailer for the rest of the season, which is pretty much Arrow the movie. It's a fake trailer, but it's all footage from the rest of this second season of Arrow. And if there's any indication, it's going to be a fucking great ride.
Yeah, I am really stoked for what they have coming up next. I mean, if none of you have seen it, next week's episode is all about the Suicide Squad, and I'm looking forward to that.
And the Suicide Squad is going to be great, and I'm wondering is in the episode that we just watched, Diggle is going to take a shot at Slade Wilson with a sniper rifle, just take him out. He gets abducted from his sniping position and just disappeared. And Slade's like, don't worry, Diggle's alive, you'll see him later. And we're like, fuck. But here's the thing. Does that mean that Slade Wilson is working with Amanda Waller, leader of the Suicide Squad? Are they just working together like, oh, hi, here's this guy, like a teamwork thing? Or is it like separate?
I don't think they are because in the preview, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but in the preview for next week's episode, that Waller actually talks about how they have a new target and it's Deathstroke.
Yeah.
So I don't think it did leave me a little confused as to what exactly happened to Diggle at the end of the episode, Now,
I'm wondering if they're going to do a thing where, maybe Diggle gets kidnapped and Amanda Waller sends in the Suicide Squad to rescue him.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. I mean, we don't really know,
Yeah, it's all wild conjecture at this moment, but it looks like it's going to be so amazing and such a new turn for Diggle working with Deadshot. Finding out more about everything that's going on with his brother, everything is going to be great.
I know. But let's talk about, last week's episode. I mean, last night's episode, since that's the big episode.
Yeah. There was a lot of things that happened here, and one of the things I was so interested in was actually a small scene near the end. Ollie, Slade Wilson, and Sarah Lands have gone through the freighter. They've, kind of defeated everyone. At this point, Slade Wilson knows that Ollie kind of had a hand in Shadow's death, through a different means. and Ollie gets kidnapped by Slade, who now takes over the freighter. You know, brother against brother, friend against friend, everyone's on different things. And there's a small moment where Slade is talking to Ivo and saying, I want you to stand exactly how you stood when you shot Shadow, and pointing the gun at Ollie. And we don't know what's going on. And he's just pointing his gun, and Slade Wilson keeps saying, like, I want you to stand exactly. Is this how you stood? And then it cuts off his fingers, I believe. I think
No, he cut off his whole hand.
whole hand, yeah. The man's not typing anymore. He's done. No, the thing I thought that's gonna definitely be some foreshadowing. I think Slade Wilson has a plan to make Ollie choose. Now, is he gonna be choosing against Sarah and someone else from the past? That's not that interesting. But is he gonna be choosing from someone in the future in Sewing City? Is it Moira or his sister? Is it gonna be Laurel or Sarah? Is it gonna be all four of them? Because it could be anyone, and maybe out of four people, Ollie can only save one. That is what I think is going. This whole thing, I think that's where it ends up.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Where did you get this idea of the whole foreshadowing of him having to choose?
Because Slade Wilson goes through a lot of things. Like he wants to know exactly how Ivo was standing when he killed Shadow. And then that was the moment like Ollie, you choose who gets killed and all that jazz. I think that in the future, my random theory is that Slade Wilson's going to have Laurel, Sarah, Thea, Moira, one of those combinations lined up against him, and Ollie's going to have to choose which one to save because Slade's going to kill the other one.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I had a different impression of that.
Oh, throw it out there, please.
Because he talks about, the whole episode was called, it was like The Promise or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to force him to choose. I figured he was just going to go straight for something that, was really close to Ollie and make him suffer via, hurting someone he loved, killing someone he loved, etc.
And I definitely agree with you right there. I'm just wondering if he's going to make it like that little extra twist where like it harkens back to the island. Of course, I could be reading way too much into a guy who's seriously crazy and just being like, he's going to do this super crazy, Seven type of shit.
I was kind of upset when we didn't see I thought we were going to find out what happened to Slade's eye in this episode.
I think that's how this season's going to end in the past.
Okay, you think we won't find out till towards the end?
I think that's going to be like the last episode where we find out when Ollie thinks that he's killed Slade, because he does say, oh, is anyone with Mirakuru? He's like, no, I killed the last man with Mirakuru.
Do you think he's going to kill Slade in this season?
I think this season's going to end with Slade being defeated, but I think in the past it's going to end with Ollie, sticking an arrow right into Slade's eye and thinking that he killed him.
Oh, okay, thinking he killed him. I was going to say, how does this work in the comic books? Are you familiar with that?
No, in the comic books there was a similar type of situation. It's called Identity Crisis, and I believe it was 2004 to 2005.
Okay.
In this, at one point, Deathstroke walks out of a bar, which sounds like a bad joke, and he just kicks the living crap out of every member of the Justice League. Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Black Canary, pretty much everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see just how terrifying Deathstroke can be. And he's gonna he breaks Green Lantern's ring finger. He's gonna take his ring, and everyone's beating and broing because Deathstroke's terrifying. All he doesn't have is arrows because Deathstroke chopped off all his feather quills. And so literally he just comes up behind Deathstroke, takes an arrow, and jabs it into his empty eye hole. And the rest of the league just kind of grapple him down like a 5-year-old fight. That's what happens in the comics, and I bet in this similar situation, it might harken back to the comics at the end of this season on the island.
So Ollie does kill Slade or Deathstroke in the comics?
It doesn't even kill him. It just goes into his empty eye hole and really pisses him off.
Oh, okay.
And then later on in the episode, which actually harkens back to the video that Stephen Amell showed, was Deathstroke leaving a note for Ollie with a Deathstroke mask with an arrow through him saying, "We're not done, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen."
Okay, so you think he'll win the battle, but the war isn't over, kind of thing.
Exactly. And we saw a very similar scene in the Arrow trailer for the movie. We see Green Arrow looking at Slade's mask on top of a roof with an
Okay,
arrow.
yeah, I remember seeing that.
So I think that's kind of how it's going to harken back. So I think that's going to be very interesting.
Okay, yeah, I like the idea of that, but seeing as how if the rest of the episode is just basically him versus Deathstroke, I'd be totally okay with that.
Oh, incredibly so. It'd be so great. Now, I really did like the little bit they're doing with Roy Harper, and they're really throwing in like he's not Archer. He's literally just going to be this brutal, punch it and hope it goes away kind of guy.
Hmm.
And so I think that's going to be very interesting.
If they continue to go in that direction with him.
Yeah, because there's really like in a lot of ways you can't train him to be a super badass ninja like Arrow, Black Canary, Slade Wilson. He's literally just going to be this regular guy who now has this huge strength, and that can be some very interesting stories to tell.
I don't have a problem with that, but at the same time, I also, do wish that we saw, um, him with a mask and everything too.
I'm hoping at one point it ends up that way. I would love like see Green Arrow knocking a bow and then Red Arrow right behind him knocking a bow. That'd be very cool, I think.
It was really nice to see him training to shoot a bow. In the episode. Do you remember that?
Yeah, with Black Canary, I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, so I think eventually we'll lead up to it, but they might do like a whole Smallville thing where we never see him until the very end.
Yeah, which would be kind of sad, but it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Speaking of Smallville, I remember you and I were on Facebook and we got into a discussion about that exact trailer that Stephen Amell had put up, and I talked about how I thought Arrow was doing everything that Smallville. They basically took everything that Smallville did wrong and just like took it out, and now you have Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited about this series, and I can't wait to see how far they take it and what else we get to see from the creators.
And I can definitely understand like a lot of people have like worry when it comes to Arrow, like they're introducing too many characters, they're going through things too fast. I am incredibly entertained every week. I love the mythology of the show. I love where it's going. And I'm so impressed that not only did they like get a superhero show to be widely popular, but so popular that they could have a spin-off show with another superhero. With The Flash coming out soon, that to me just shows just how great this show is already.
Yeah, you talk about how they're introducing all these other characters, and I don't remember if you saw it, but Jeff posted a really good point in our little thread about how they on Smallville they introduced characters kind of like as a filler because they couldn't have Clark be Superman, so they kind of just like introduced all these people.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really good point where it's weird because it's a different feeling. Here they can introduce they've been introducing all these characters, and I feel like they're not spoiling us. I'm not getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. It feels, while I only watched a little bit of Smallville, it felt like very like I don't know what. There's so many people. It's complicated. With Arrow, I definitely feel it's Team Arrow in the same way like watching Serenity. It was the crew of Serenity, and everyone has their own places, and I love the team dynamic, and that's what I'm getting from Arrow, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, that shot of when, the point where, Canary, what's her name again? Laurel? No, it's not Laurel. It's Sarah. When Sarah realizes that she's hearing Slade and she assembles the like their little team, and the moment where Roy walks up to the door, goes into the door, I was getting really excited. Because I felt like that was like the first time like they'd all come together and they were all like one entity, yeah, one unit. I was getting excited because the potential, had finally culminated to that point.
And in a lot of ways, it sounds weird. It's the first time they all communicated, because for a lot of them, like Diggle talks to Ollie and Felicity.
Yeah.
Sarah talks to Ollie. Red Arrow talks to Ollie. And this is the first time Ollie's on the equation and they're all talking together. And like, that's very cool.
Yeah. I thought it was great. I thought it was a very strong, powerful scene. I think it's one of the most important scenes that we've seen to date. For the short-lived series so far.
Yeah. Just seeing like the team assemble pretty much, like, Planeteers, and just them all getting together is very cool.
Yeah, yeah, no, I thought it was very cool.
Something that I've really enjoyed about Arrow so far is how they have all their villains is very much like the movie Unbreakable with Bruce Willis and I believe Samuel L. Jackson,
Hmm.
where he talked about there's two kind of villains in comic books: the one that attacks the mind and one that attacks the body. And if you look at Arrow, you see like Bronze Tiger attacks the body, Deadshot attacks the body, and then like the Claw King attacks the mind, Vertigo attacks the mind. But they're big overarching bad boys. Malcolm Merlin and Slade Wilson attack both
Hmm.
because they can both go toe to toe with the body, but they're also very much just this cerebral mastermind. It's really well done, and I love that they find a way of making the big bad something very interesting that attacks on both fronts, and I've been loving that so far.
Yeah, well, that's what makes a really good villain is the ability to do both and not being one-sided. But yeah, I agree with you.
Now, something that just got released in the past couple days was Flash's costume, the first look at Barry Allen wearing the red and yellow. How did you feel about that?
I uh I think it was a little for the little bit that we saw it, I did like it, but I wanted to see I wanted to see more. You know what I mean?
I can definitely
I
agree because
I feel like I can't really give a full thumbs up or thumbs down from just a head. Maybe a lot of other people can, but to me I can't. One thing I did notice was that we got to we got an idea of the texture because the way it was photographed.
yeah,
I thought it was really interesting, like the color scheme too. It's like a darker maroonish red, and not like the bright red we see in the cartoons or from like the old. Do you remember the old like CBS?
I do.
Actually, the guy who played Flash in that show is going to be in the new Flash.
Oh, really? That's kind of amazing. That's kind of a cool nod.
Yeah. I think he's got actually like a a permanent role or something like that. I can't remember, but I remember reading it from one of the sites that I check out that he was going to be in the show.
I think that's very cool, and I wonder if he's going to be in there, like kind of like almost a guide helping Barry Allen find his own way. Because that'd be really cool, like an old Flash teaching the new Flash, even though he won't be Flash in the new show, but that kind of like mentor role.
Imagine if they gave him the name of like one of the other Flashes.
Oh yeah, just like, oh hi, this is Wally. Wally W. What?
That would be awesome. Even though I think he played Barry in the CBS show.
I think he did. Yeah, that'd be great. Something that I do like and I'm also worried about at the same time is like the costume. For those who haven't seen it, the Flash costume that we got to see, it looks this like a very nice red. It looks almost like he's like leather and gym mat put together, like kind of like a rubbery texture.
Yeah, yeah.
But it looks like a very well put together costume. But something I liked about Arrow was that he's not wearing a costume. He doesn't know what's going on. He's wearing like grease paint for most of the first and second season. And then we see Barry, very new to being a superhero, instantly with this amazing costume. And we do know that Barry can make this costume. It's probably going to be the same stuff that Oliver Queen's new mask is made out of. But it looks so well designed. So I'm like, it's kind of weird how he's like, I'm a superhero. I have this amazing costume instantly. While with Arrow, we saw the costume build over time.
Mm. You know what it is though? I think one thing that I do remember thinking about the costume, and I don't think I don't think it's about it's actually not about the costume. It's about the actor's head. It's a weird shape for me.
He does kind of like a big noggin, I will admit.
Yeah, and it's like a light bulb.
Yes.
I think that stood out more to me than anything. Forget the costume. The shape of his head, I was like, it looks kind of weird.
Yeah. Some people can pull off, the slick back or the bald look. Not this man. No. Looks a bit more like Martian Manhunter than Flash. Mm-hmm.
I know.
Super nerdy joke. Now,
But no, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, please, after you, sir. After you.
Oh no. I was just gonna agree with you. That's all. Go ahead. Continue with your thought.
Something I liked was that they introduced a few more people from off the boat. At the end of the episode, a lot of the prisoners on the Amazo boat end up on the island. We have like a preacher, a few prisoners, the Russian Brodfa mafia guy,
Yeah, I know.
hanging out with Sarah.
Yeah, I know that we were introduced to who the Russian guy was, but I was gonna ask, does the priest have any, or the missionary have any kind of significance?
Now that's something I haven't actually been able to look up yet. I'm hoping to look it up. Yeah, I'm seeing if like maybe he's like a minor character, maybe becomes a villain later, maybe a hero, probably a villain. Um,
Yeah.
but I am excited to see what that is. I'm going to be looking into that, looking into the mythos of Green Arrow and seeing where it comes out to. But I think it is a great idea to see where the season can go next year for the island. Are they going to stay on the island with all these new people and have to deal with it that way? Do
Yeah,
they go to Russia?
yeah, I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask if you remember, when the pilot aired. Remember the opening scene? We just saw Ollie, and he did exactly what he was trying to do
Yeah,
in that in the middle of last night's episode. You know, where he lit the bonfire or whatever.
yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you remember seeing any? There was no one else on the island with him, as far as we knew. He was the only one rescued, right?
Yeah, he was the only one rescued, and they did say, like, Oliver Queen on uninhabited island, and everyone thought he was alone there for years.
So the question is, yeah, we saw everyone get off the island. I mean, get off the boat and onto the island. So does that mean at some point they all got off the island and he just stayed there, or
I'm
because
actually,
we know the Russian got back?
yeah, I'm actually wondering if, because it's something that Ollie does say is that I wasn't on the island for the whole 5 years. I'm wondering if at one point Ollie leaves the island and goes to Russia for a while,
Oh,
and that's where he becomes a lieutenant in the Brodfa. It's like a really dark version. I could see that happening.
oh wait, was he a lieutenant in the Russian mafia?
Yep, he's a lieutenant in the Russian mafia. He's got like a super tattoo of it. He also gets tattooed up, which I don't think happened on the island because he has a Russian tattoo.
You know, oh, I mean, two things. I completely forgot that he had even said that he had gotten off the island, or that he wasn't on the island for all 5 years.
Yeah,
And two, he could have also just been made a lieutenant because for helping that guy out.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, you helped me out here. You are now Lieutenant Brodfa.
Yeah,
But
but he said that he didn't spend all 5 years on the island.
yeah, it was something in the first season, and someone's like, or maybe second season, like, I thought you did this. He was like, I never said I was on the island for all the 5 years.
Oh yeah. So, wow. You saying that makes me wonder now even more. What
And
exact? How did he get off if he did get off the island?
I mean, theoretically, when we see how this plays out, they might have a nice, fresh freighter full of dead bodies that can fly to anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone flies over. Now I really want to know what happened to him.
Exactly. Now, in our comments section for this one, we'll see if we can put in like the actual episode that line went into, so you guys can look at it, come up with your own hypothesis, look at your own theories.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's good. We've gotten a good chunk of Arrow out of the way. The next episode isn't for 2 weeks, which is gonna drive me nuts. But yeah, it'll be a good one because that's a Suicide Squad. Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll run down more of the news in comics and other movies and film. Okay, we'll be right back. Cool. Okay, we're back from a break. So let's. What are we talking about next? Let's jump right into Batman: Arkham Knight, the game that we all just saw the trailer for.
Yeah, the trailer for this one just dropped a few days ago, and it looks amazing. It's actually not made by WB Montreal as the latest game, Arkham Origins. It's made by the original makers of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, Rocksteady, and the man, Kevin Conroy, the original and best Batman, is back as the voice of Batman.
Mm.
It's going to be amazing. And if you haven't seen the trailer, really do look it up. It looks like it could be a movie.
They all look like they could be a movie. They've all been really good.
Incredibly true.
And this one we actually get to use the Batmobile too. It looks like.
Yep, you can call it at any time. You press like a button, all of a sudden, bam, you're in the Batmobile. And they are saying that if you're going around in the Batmobile, that's where you're going to be interacting with a lot of the Riddler's riddles.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the trailer actually reminds me of the first, Nolan Batman movie.
Yeah, because everything does seem a little like weird like that. I'll definitely agree with that. It looks really cool. I'm really excited to see where it goes. And also, the new villain, Arkham Knight, actually refers to the new villain who could be someone from the comics, but the developers are saying he's completely new to both the comics and the game world. A whole new villain they're creating with Jeff Jones, one of the great DC comic writer.
It's weird that they created a whole new villain because, I mean, it seems like Scarecrow is like the main villain, considering he's doing like the whole voiceover narration for the trailer.
Yeah, agreed. Like, and he'd be a perfect villain, like a whole city gripped in fear. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, we also it's nice to see that we get to see Two Face, Penguin,
Harley,
um, who?
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Something I do really hope is that we get to play maybe with Robin. I would love like a two-player co-op event where someone's Batman and then someone drops in and gets to be, Robin, whether it's Dick Grayson or Tim Drake.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't we get to play with Nightwing before?
I believe we got to play with Nightwing or at least Robin in Arkham City in a few challenge maps and also the DLC,
Yeah,
which I loved. I actually loved that a lot because I just am a huge Robin fan.
yeah. If you pre-order, you get to play as Harley Quinn, which is really interesting.
Oh yeah, that is very cool. I think in the past games you can play as like Joker or what this, but now it's Harley Quinn and she does look really amazing in the trailer. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, all the characters look really good.
Yeah. Especially Penguin with his nice bottle in his eye.
Yeah, I like how Penguin doesn't look like a penguin. I've always
Yeah.
like been wondering how they're gonna, do all that stuff.
Yeah, and they're like, no, he's just a guy. It's okay. He's a mobster. It's cool.
Yeah, um, especially how they described him for the new Fox show.
Yeah, I do really like that for the new Fox show, especially with which is Gotham, by the way. It follows the exploits of a young Jim Gordon, not yet commissioner, on the Gotham police, kind of getting in there. This is before Batman's even a thing.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Gotham, I forgot to mention they cast Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle. What did you see that?
I did not see that. That's amazing. Who do they have?
Oh, you didn't see that? There was a show on Fox called Touch. With Kiefer Sutherland. He had that like
Uh,
autistic child.
is it the autistic child? Is that Bruce?
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of legit. I'm okay with that.
He's also really young looking, so
Yeah, this was the a mega young Bruce Wayne.
like this is a kid. Like we're dealing with kid Bruce Wayne.
We're dealing with like first episode, Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne in the dust. I'm hoping.
Oh, you're thinking it's just like right after he died?
I'm
Oh,
thinking,
they've died.
yeah, because something they did say at one point, like the series will end with Batman becoming Batman. Though that could be just like a random like thing someone threw out on the internet, so we don't know if that's actually going to be how it goes.
That seems to be a really popular formula is having a series where the superhero becomes a superhero at the end of the series.
Which is, I think, very, very cool. Even though we just talked about for a while, Arrow was kind of that way, and a few others have been that way, and it's a very cool way. Like you kind of go with the journey with them to a certain point, and then go with the journey beyond that.
Yeah.
Speaking of trailers, we did get another amazing trailer that just hit today. Sin City 2: A Dame to Kill For.
Uh-huh.
If you haven't seen the trailer, check it online. It looks amazing. They got a lot of the old people back. You can see Marv, you can see Dwight in a different face. You see some new characters, one being Johnny, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I do think I saw Bruce Willis in there, and of course you can see Jessica Alba as little Nancy Callahan.
Yeah, when did the first Sin City come out in theaters? That was a long time ago.
That came out, I'm going to say 2006.
It
'Cause
feels like a long time ago.
I think it was like our senior year of college. I think it was 2006. I could be
I,
wrong. I think 2005, 2004, who knows?
that was a really good movie when I first saw it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the one like every year I pop that in along with Shawshank Redemption. I'm like, these are my movies. Watch Die Hard on Christmas. Done.
Yeah, I like that. I like that most of the original cast is back, and it's directed by Rodriguez again, right?
Yep, it's done by Robert Rodriguez, who's doing some amazing work recently.
Yeah. So I have, you know, I have no, I have, all the faith that that movie is going to be just fine. It's weird. Like you hear a director's name associated with a movie, and you're just like, oh yeah, I have no problem with that.
This one is safe. It's all set. No worries.
Yeah. Speaking of not safe, Batman Superman.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't touch upon this last time, right?
No, I don't think we did.
Oh man, what do you think about that? It's
I'm
Batman
so
versus or Superman versus Batman. Batman.
Yeah, I think Batman should get top billing. I love Batman more.
Have you read much into this?
I've read a little bit into this. I really want to know. I'm actually liking all the casting so far, and I can understand people hating Ben Affleck. That's completely fine. I understand. I don't mind it. I don't mind Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and I don't mind Gary Oldman, I think it is, as Alfred Pennyworth.
Oh, it's definitely not Gary Oldman.
Oh, fuck. Who is it?
It's uh Jeremy. No, it's not Jeremy Irons. What the hell am I talking about?
Yeah. Which would be the most insane Alfred Pennyworth ever.
Hold on, I have to
No,
look
no,
it up. I have to look it up because it's really important.
It is Jeremy Irons.
Is it Jeremy Irons?
You're completely right. It is Jeremy Irons.
Oh, it is Jeremy.
Yeah. Which is now even more terrifying.
It's Jeremy Irons. That's right.
I think
I was like, it's not the guy from Die Hard. Nope, it is. It is Die.
They've actually announced a sequel, which is Batman and Superman versus Alfred. It's gonna be terrifying.
Bruce Willis is gonna be in it.
Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to bring this up was because I had a friend who brought up a really good point about this movie that I was overlooking because I was so obsessed about the casting, and everyone has been so upset with how this movie has been casted, and I have tried to maintain this optimism about it, and being like, oh, don't worry, Ben Affleck is going to be great, which I honestly think he will be great, but a friend of mine reminded me, he said, forget the casting. Let's just talk about the movie in general and the direction they're going with it. And I was like, yeah. He goes, it's already wrong. and it took me a minute to realize how absolutely correct he was, that you can't even get upset about the casting because they can't even get the movie itself correct.
How so?
Because I'm trying to remember what exactly he said, but okay. So it's Superman, Batman, correct?
Yeah.
It's the second movie of this this series of films. In order to get into such a confrontation, you need to know more about these guys. It's almost as if the direction they're taking is you already know about Batman, which you don't, because it's a whole different Batman compared to the Nolan Batmans.
Yeah.
And we didn't get much about the origin of Superman or his dealings with his own humanity and the people of Earth. We just got a bunch of action scenes. Do you see what I'm saying here?
I can kind of see, a lot seems like it's going to be packed in. In a way, we only really met Superman in the last maybe 5 minutes of the Superman movie, where he's just like, hey, I broke your satellites.
Yeah, and the way they introduced it at Comic-Con, it was so dramatic and it was so, powerful. That one-liner from Dark Knight, right?
Yep.
Is Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, with Frank Miller.
Yeah. That whole scene where Batman reminds Superman that he is the one guy, that beat him.
Yeah, I want you to remember when a man beat you, my hand at your throat.
Yeah, that entire scene. And instead we're just going to get... Yeah, the more I think about it, it is... My optimism slowly depletes.
I can definitely understand where you're coming from. I'm still optimistic. I'm looking to see like where they go from it because we don't know much about the plot.
Yeah,
And
we don't. Yeah, you're right. We don't know much about the plot. I read in an article on comingsoon.net, one of my favorite comic book tabloid sites, that Snyder is like they they said that he was like hinting in a recent interview with someone else that the direction that they're taking with the movie is not even closely associated to the comic books. Like they've basically made up their own adaptation. Which I mean, an adaptation is an adaptation. I totally understand that, but it's
it's
I don't
weird.
I don't I don't have all the confidence in the world because how do people the people's perception of this movie and that you haven't had enough time to build upon it. They might be right because the characters are so complicated, especially a character like Batman.
I can definitely see it like where it's like we're gonna have this amazing dramatic scene from Dark Knight Returns, and one of the most amazing things about that scene is all the history with these two characters.
Yeah,
And then we're gonna have these two people who almost don't even know each other meeting for the first time, then versing each other. It feels a lot to me actually like the Marvel comics where like Thor fights the Thing, and it's just like Thor walking down the street, orders a Coke, and Hulk comes through the wall,
and
and
just
then the
smashes
Thing
them.
comes up there, and there's just a huge fight. And you're like, oh no, and now they're friends at the end, and that's how I think the movie's gonna go. Like, oh, we have to, work together to defeat Lex Luthor, who's going to write a bad Facebook request about us.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the movie, if they have any indication that there has been a history between these two in the movie, it will automatically fail.
I will definitely agree. I'm hoping not. I'm not thinking it's going to be
But I don't know how you manage to establish some kind of connection or relationship between these two when you haven't even done it
at all.
at all. You just go into this movie and you go, "Oh, there's Bruce Wayne in this continuity, and apparently they know each other and don't like each other." But why? You're gonna ask, especially if you're a kid who's like, "Oh, I like Superman, I like Batman. Why are they arguing with each other? Why don't they like each other?" How do you establish that? You know, I
I definitely see where you're coming from, and I agree. I'm thinking they do want to say is that this is like a world-weary Batman. He's been fighting crime for a long while, so I'm wondering if it's gonna be a thing like Batman's been doing this thing, and he's been looking at this Superman and doesn't like this, and blah blah blah, which is still kind of like a shitty thing because you're like you couldn't have just mentioned Batman in the first Man of Steel. It does feel almost in a way tacked on.
mm, yeah. Okay, let's move on. I've dwelled too much on Batman Superman. We'll have to tackle that another time. Let's talk about Agents of Shield. I know that you wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, Agents of Shield just came back with one of their new episodes, and it looks really cool. This is a show that I've liked from the beginning, and it looks like it's becoming that show that this is where it's a turning point where people will start getting into it, where there's a better overarching plot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the hardest problems with Agents of Shield is actually kind of the world that we live in, where in a lot of ways we're scared of the government. Like the
Mm.
government's, looking at us, recording everything, and that's all Shield is. And we're like, oh no, that's terrible. And then we're like seeing these people doing these things that like, we're like, the NSA is recording our conversations. Let's watch Agents of Shield where they're doing the exact same thing but even more so. It's a very weird thing where we're like we don't know really to root for these people because we have so many of our own deals with the government going on. But I think now it's becoming that show where like, oh no, some really bad stuff is going on with Agent of Shield where the people that were following the team really doesn't trust Shield. And I think this is where it becomes like very interesting where we can kind of see through their eyes and also not trust Shield in the same way that maybe we also don't trust the NSA, the CIA. And can be paranoid in that way, not so like pro surveillance of everyone.
Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for Lady Sif to show up.
Next episode, man, what's the poor lie?
I tried to catch up on it. Actually, I was on Hulu the other day, and I was like, okay, I'm I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna catch up, and I was looking at the episodes and I was like, they have episode 3, 4, and then it jumped to like 11, 12. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to every other episode in between?
Yeah, it's like they have, I believe, 5 episodes, and there's like, I don't know, an 8 episode gap. So you're like,
Yeah.
God damn,
I'm like, how am I supposed to catch up?
you
this was
never can.
this was my plan. I don't even think. And I was like, I was I was like, wait, where are the Hulu Plus episodes? Nope. I don't think I'm getting help either from that side.
Let's be honest. Hulu Plus just means you have to add in a new login when you watch Hulu stuff. There's nothing new on it. It's poor guy.
Yeah, and you
But
still get ads.
yeah,
What's the point of paying if you're still gonna get ads?
I don't know. Just get Netflix. It's so much better.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking you'll be able to enjoy Agents of Shield when you just do a whole overarching marathon of it and catch up.
Oh, I plan on doing it. You know, even though. Did you know that? I just read recently in an article that it actually got low ratings this last episode. I really hope that this show doesn't fail, even though I'm not helping,
Yeah,
make it any better by not watching it.
I completely understand. And there are a few shows like that where I'm like, I don't want to fail, but I'm not doing much to help it. Like Almost Human, which is a new show on Fox, which I love with a passion. It's like a buddy cop and an AI robot partner solving crimes.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. It's so great, but I'm like, its ratings are not good. And there's a very good chance it just does not come back next year.
Yeah, it sounds like a show I'll fall in love with when I find it on Netflix.
It's definitely, I feel
Like,
like a lot of, oh, good.
what's that?
I feel like these are a lot of those shows where it's like, no one watched what was on. 1 year later, damn you, Fox, for taking it away. Firefly Part 2.
It's like Terra. Did you ever see the show Terra Nova?
Yes.
I was on Netflix one day and I saw it, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this show because I remember it was on TV. I got obsessed after the first with that whole season, and I was like, I can't believe I did not watch it, and also I cannot believe that the show is on Netflix because there's only one season. Now I don't know what's gonna happen to the rest of it,
Yeah.
and it left the viewer on such a ridiculous cliffhanger.
Oh, it did? I watched 2 episodes of Terra Nova, then I'm like, no, you know what? I think I'm just going to go outside. Going to go in the lake for a while. Don't have to worry about this noise.
I like the concept. It was really interesting going back in time.
Oh, I love the concept. I thought it was really interesting, but I was just like,
I was like, great, you're gonna destroy your future.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a head start on killing yourself. Awesome.
It's going to be that episode of The Simpsons where Homer goes into like a different thing, goes in the past, sits on a butterfly, destroys everything.
Oh yeah, the toaster. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a Treehouse of Horror episode. That was a good one.
Always amazing. I love those.
That was a good one. Okay. What about moving on? Godzilla. I have to bring up Godzilla.
I don't blame you. It's amazing. I am loving it. I love the first trailer that came out, and I'm loving the new trailer. I'm so excited. After you bring it up, what are your thoughts?
This movie's gonna be amazing. Because all I can think about is the Matthew Broderick film.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So when I see this with Bryan Cranston, I'm like, this is amazing.
Very much so. Something that I do love is the last trailer just hit a couple days ago, and in it you can actually kind of see probably what the plot of the movie is going to be, which is, we have Godzilla, but we also have these government installations with creatures coming out of it. So I think it's going to be very much a Godzilla is a force of nature, and there's all these other creatures that he has to kill while also fighting or working with the humans. So I think it's incredibly interesting.
Yeah, they already talked. They kind of did spoil a bit of the like the origins of Godzilla in that movie. Did you pick up on that?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, at some point during the trailer, it's not a big spoiler. It's not a spoiler because they say it. At some point in the trailer, they say that they mention all like the nuclear testings or whatever in wherever that was in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they were like, there's a reason why we were testing there. They weren't tests. We were trying to kill Godzilla back then.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. So
And it does make you wonder if maybe they started like thinking a very Pacific Rim idea, like we can't kill Godzilla. Let's make our own monsters to kill Godzilla. Oh
yeah,
no, our own monsters are turning against us.
I wonder how they're even gonna even try to like communicate with this thing.
I agree. I'm hoping it goes back to the old Toho Godzilla things where literally Godzilla doesn't communicate, he just destroys, and you just have to hope that something else can anger it more than you, so it kills it.
Yeah, but I like how they're not hiding what he looks like. We're gonna see him.
Yeah, and I think that's very cool. They hit it for a while just so you can be like, oh, hey, what's going on here? Then they bring in, like, nope, this is what he looks like. He's going to be just this destructive force. Get ready, everyone, buckle the fuck up.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
I'm super excited. I mean, anytime I can see a whole city leveled, I'm excited. I saw Cloverfield, all the Transformers, Pacific Rim, happy and excited every single moment.
Hmm. Okay, you know what? Let's take a quick break here, and then we'll wrap things up when we come back. How's that sound?
Sounds wonderful.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. We're back. So I guess we'll just wrap things up. We're at the end of the show. If you hadn't noticed, we're trying to do a slightly faster format. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it. That's what I'm wondering. Did you have
Yeah,
anything to say?
Yeah, our hope is that we can maybe do one large big story for the first part of our podcast, and the second part can be kind of rapid fire news going on, hit as many different topics possible, give a few thoughts out there, maybe raise awareness on maybe you didn't know there was a Sin City trailer out there on those kind of topics.
Yeah, as you can tell, we're still new to this thing. This is only episode 2. Also, something you'll notice, I will uh, try to uh, shorten the intro music. I really enjoyed it. That's why I left it so long.
It
But
is amazing.
I'll try to cut it to just 30 seconds because I realize people probably don't want to sit there for like a whole minute and listen to this music while we're just dwindling away.
Sims, the people are here for comics and comic related things, as great as the music may be.
Also, this episode should go up on SoundCloud, but the thing is, if unless you're paying for it, you only get 2 hours on SoundCloud. So if we're a little over, I think we have a little under an hour. So if we're over, I'll have to delete the the latest episode that we have up there. But don't worry, you can always catch it on YouTube because I'm starting to archive us on YouTube. At some point, if we ever do get a website, this stuff will finally hit iTunes, but for now you'll just see us on SoundCloud and YouTube.
And
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, please, after you, sir.
Oh, I was gonna say yeah. On you, I forgot to mention on YouTube. We're the same name. It's Sterling City Radio. So if you see us there, don't forget to click subscribe, like us, all the socials, spread it.
Which is great.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else? Is there anything you gotta say? Anything you want to plug, promote?
Not that I can think of. I just hope everyone enjoys the coming wonderfulness of another comic book movie, which comes out tomorrow, which is 300: Rise of the Empire.
Yeah, I have some friends that did a double feature. I don't know what the hell they're doing. If they saw the first one and then the second one.
Which would be amazing.
Yeah, seeing it tonight. Couple things. I am on. We've got us on YouTube, SoundCloud. I've got a Twitter. It's at Simeon Cortesano. It's my name. I'll put a link to that in the description below. Also, I didn't tell you this, AJ, but I'm actually signed up for the Extra Life fundraiser. Do you know anything about that?
I do know a little bit about that. I did help my friend Ash with that last year. Now, tell a little bit for our listeners, though.
Yeah. So it's a 24-hour marathon of just gaming. It started out as video games. A lot of people, stream themselves on Twitch. But for me, I will actually be doing, and I'll be holding an event. It's not until October, so we've got a ways to go. But there's a lot of fundraising to do in between. I will be holding an event in October. I am here in Massachusetts at my local game store, and the owner, who I'm friends with, has been kind enough to open his doors for 24 hours. We're just gonna do board games. As of right now, it's like a midnight to midnight thing.
That is amazing. I'm very excited about that.
So you should come down, AJ,
Dude, I'd love to.
and just game it up for 24 hours.
Are there any games you think you're gonna play? Magic the Gathering.
Oh yeah. They'll definitely gonna be Magic the Gathering, Warhammer. There's a lot of miniature mini gamers. We should have lots of plenty of board games from Fantasy Flight and other companies. So there'll be plenty to do. Zombicide. I know that we have a copy of Zombicide at this door.
Ooh, I'm all out of them.
I've got Elder Scrolls Dixit. I've got this like bean game. It's really weird. I have yet to figure out how it works still.
I have a few some great ones for those who love Lovecraft. Betrayal and House on the Hill.
Wait, do you have that?
I do actually.
Oh my goodness. Do you know how much that game is?
I do. I'm gonna kill my friend for it because
At least the second edition. First edition is nuts. They revised the second edition because of tabletop. They have to put out a third one, but they never said when it was going to come out. But on Amazon, these games are fetching almost $200.
They're worth every penny. They're fucking wonderful.
Yeah, that game in particular, I want to play. I don't have it. I do have another game from Fantasy called Elder Scrolls,
which sounds great.
Yeah. Oh my God. We're running out of time. We have to talk about this another time. But yeah, I'll leave a link below. Also, I'm accepting donations. You can make a donation for whatever. Every dollar counts. And then for Extra Life, they actually go towards the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So the one in particular I'm supporting is the Boston's Children's Hospital.
Oh, that is incredible, man. That's really nice of you.
Yeah. So, link below. I think that's it. We're out of time. We'll see everyone next time. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, listeners.